Alright, what's up guys, Brad here, and this is going to be the first video for Brad's Retro Gaming channel in a long time. So this is going to be the new format of stuff. We're going to be talking about what would I do if I was a brand new video game collector in 2021. What are the consoles, what are the things I would look at, and what are my opinions and options for you guys? What would I kind of just give you as a hint? So anyways, we're going to actually throw a little bit of music on here and just get this going, right? So go to the web browser here and we'll start it off. So this is pricecharting.com. If you don't know about it, this will be your friend. You can make an account, create a collection, add your stuff into there, keep track of what things are worth, and it's a rough guesstimate. You know, it's not perfect exactly, but it's a good way to go about and kind of, you know, judge how prices are. And then the other thing I would say too is just go onto eBay and start searching things. Use different keywords and look at sold listings to get a rough idea of prices. Those are like the two things I would judge for price-wise of things. Now, what are the ways that I would collect for in 2021? Because prices are sky high. They've never been higher, and you've got Pokemon cards that are going to the moon. PlayStation 3 just went up like crazy out of nowhere. It's just everything that seems to be an all-time high. So what I would do is kind of go for some things that have good availability but are also not as sought after. So this is just my opinion on it. I'm actually going to switch some things around here. Sorry. So my opinion on it is I would basically, one, go about it from console generations, right? So what would I do? What do I like? Do I like the old school stuff? Do I want to collect for NES, SNES, Sega Genesis? Then I say the middle old school ways, such as like N64 and PlayStation 1. And then even PS2, original Xbox, and GameCube kind of fall in that category, which is crazy. And then you get the more modern retro things, which it's insane to even say that modern, like retro, and making this up in my own head, would be like PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Wii. Then you've even got handheld stuff, which is a whole nother category. You got the unique things like Sega Saturn, you've got Neo Geo, you've got the 3DO, the CDI, whatever. In my opinion, stay away from those super obscure unique things. Don't even think about them. You're going to pay out the ass for every single thing unless you've got the money and you want to. This is probably not the video for you then. If you've got the money, you're going to go out and just buy whatever you want. If you're on a budget and you want a collection, you want to start out, that's kind of what I did when I originally started. So I started collecting way back when, probably about 10 years ago, I really started collecting. And I originally wanted to do literally everything. So that is an option. If you guys want to do everything, just go out, and when you go to places like flea markets, to your, any local place that sells games, like retro vintage things, you go on to eBay, talk to friends, do the Facebook Marketplace, whatever, Craigslist. Be on the lookout for anything that's a good deal, right? That is an option. If you can find something that's a good deal, to grab it. But I kind of honestly like to have it kind of pinned down a little bit more. So my collection back here is actually, it's mainly horror for the most part. I mean, you can tell probably from the Resident Evil Village Collector's Edition up top, but I, for the most part, collect horror games. That's just what I enjoy the most. So I decided, hey, why not? I'll collect horror games from the PlayStation 1 and up. That was my threshold. I don't want anything older than that. I'm not doing anything Nintendo related, and I mainly focus on disc-based games. So original Xbox, Xbox 360, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I don't do Xbox after PlayStation 4 for the most part. I have a few 360 games just because I had them from beforehand. But that's kind of one of the things. So maybe there's a genre that you like. You want to do RPGs. You want to do rhythm games. You want to do card games. List goes on and on, right? Maybe you want to do just a developer. you want to do stuff for just Capcom. So I actually do that also. So I have 2 shelves actually that are like dedicated strictly to Capcom, because I love Capcom stuff, which is kind of why I ended up going about it, because I have most of the Resident Evil games, so I'm like, why not kind of continue on that? I like what Capcom does, but Capcom's expensive. Maybe there's something else from Software if you enjoy like the Bloodborne, Dark Souls style games. They have their things, their stuff's going sky high too. But like bringing it back a little bit, what are the things I would steer away from? As I said, those really obscure things. I honestly would steer away from the old vintage things, like the NES, SNES stuff. Obviously, if you really enjoy it, you can find things that fall into that category. But I feel like for the most part, you're looking at paying a lot more money than the other stuff, right? Even PlayStation 1 and N64, that stuff's a little expensive. My thought is the sweet spot is the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 area. And honestly, my go-tos right now would be the original Xbox. I think is phenomenal. I actually, when I first started actually collecting, so I did my big collecting about 2017. Didn't have a ton of money, and I was looking at things, and I'm like, what would I like to collect for? And my main thing was I actually wanted to collect PlayStation 2 games, but they were significantly more expensive than the Xbox games, for the most part. Now, it doesn't fall into everything, but we'll just use Silent Hill 2 as an example, right? So go here, we'll type in Silent Hill 2. Okay? So for the most part, this is generalization and stuff like that, but if you were to, let's see, move this over a little bit so you can see the complete in box prices. So if you were to collect Silent Hill 2, for example, going on PlayStation 2, you're looking at about $100. On the original Xbox, you're looking at half the price at just shy of 50, so about $50, right? And that goes for most things. Now you don't get Silent Hill 3, but Silent Hill 4 also is on it, and Silent Hill 4 is $50, and it's $133 on PlayStation 2. So it, like I said, it's definitely a difference. Other games, I'm trying to think. So let's look at The Punisher. Is another game that I can think off the top of my head randomly. $46 on the PlayStation 2 and $30 on the original Xbox. So not as big of a difference, but still pretty close to about 50%. Another one, let's look at like Scarface, The World Is Yours. Looking at $43.98 here, and then about $53, right? So as I said, you know, there are some things that will be opposite. Fatal Frame, I was kind of surprised by this. I mean, it's the opposite way. It's half the price on PlayStation 2 as it is on Xbox. It's kind of crazy. And I'm mainly doing horror stuff because I know that a little bit better. PlayStation 2 Obscure, the original Obscure, $252 on PlayStation 2, and then $90 on the original Xbox. So if you want this game and you want a physical copy, first of all, if you really want to play this game, buy it on Steam and see if you even like it, because it's only like $5 on there. And then if you're looking at buying a physical copy, I definitely would recommend doing the Xbox version rather than dropping $250 onto it. Not saying that, hey, you're gonna want to have one of those like crown jewels that's like the heart of your collection. I get it. If you want Obscure to be it or something, totally get it. And the thing is, honestly, the most expensive things on the Xbox aren't as crazy expensive as I think some people would. Now, this is just my opinion, like what people are going to collect. So I wouldn't be going for any of the crazy different consoles. I would just go strictly with a base console. You can get one of those for, depending, I think $60 to $80, depends on what you're doing. And then, you know, Steel Battalion, you're not going for Steel Battalion. I doubt it. Maybe you will. I'm not going to take it away from you, anything. I personally wouldn't. It's really hard to find. You're talking really big, bulky item also. Now, I would say, you know, the first game on all of this stuff, you know, like Outrun 2006, is it worth buying that? I don't know. Def Jam Fight for New York, I think it's just because it's kind of rare. Batman, this has an action figure in it, that's why it's there. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I would say this is maybe, if you were to collect Xbox, this is probably the one that's going to be your first on your list. And honestly, I don't know if it's really even worth it. Playing fighting games on the original Xbox sucks, so probably stay away from that. But the real first one I would say is Stubbs the Zombie. Stubbs the Zombie here, like, yeah, there's Teen Titan also, but like, honestly, these games up here, this is just me. I wouldn't care if I had those in my collection. Stubbs the Zombie is the first, like, only on, and that's the thing too. Like, if I were to collect Xbox games myself, I would be looking at this little only on Xbox sticker on there because it's exclusive. That's something that you only can have on the Xbox. So I would collect that stuff. And then, you know, I don't even know if Godzilla Saves the Earth. I think that's on a lot of things, but that's a pretty expensive game. So I don't know how well it does. The Godzilla games are pretty expensive. You know, but if you were to do like Xbox exclusive stuff, Otage, is Otage on anything else? I don't know if it is. Yeah, I was gonna say it's only on Xbox. I don't know why it doesn't have that logo on it. The Otage games, honestly, like Grab by the Ghoulies is one. Like a lot of the only on Xbox stuff is relatively cheap. I mean, Grab by the Ghoulies is like, I think this is a little low. I think it's like a $15 game, right? So that's really quickly going over it. I would personally say original Xbox is the way to go between them. PS2, yes, you can get a lot of games. I had tons of games printed for it. And you can get some good stuff for relatively cheap. I mean, Dark Cloud is like a decent game. I would, you know, grab for about $15 and stuff. But that would be if you wanted to go that route, right? The next thing I would say is then like the PS3, 360 era, and then you got the Wii U. And by the way, you also have GameCube, right? GameCube, I think, is it's a rich man's game. GameCube is so much more expensive than everything else. As I said, if it has Nintendo in the title, it's going to be expensive. So probably stay away from Nintendo stuff for the most part, unless you really want to do Wii. Wii games are the cheaper games, Wii and Wii U. So if you wanted to go the 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii route, I would say, honestly, the 360 is probably the better way to go also, as the PS3 had this huge spike that came out of nowhere. And honestly, if you have an Xbox One, most of the 360 games are playable on there, and they're going to be up-resed, so it is pretty great. Doesn't mean that there aren't games that are going to be expensive. I'm sure, I don't know what the expensive games are. Let's see. Got that. Not looking for any special bundle crap. I just want to look for just a game. Like just the base game, that's the most expensive. College Hoops, yeah. People aren't gonna... That's not gonna be the center of your collection, I don't think. You know, I mean, one of the bundles might be. But, you know, the good thing is, Gears of War, for example, is one of the big names for Xbox. You can get the Gears of War games for like probably $5 a piece. And they're great games. 100% worth it. That's the thing. I mean, that's the crazy thing. I'm still kind of scrolling down, and it's just collector's editions, and we're, you know, I mean, it's still going here. You know, for stuff that I would say is worth it. Like, yeah, like Saw 2, Flesh and Blood. So this game is $46 on 360. It's like $90 on PlayStation right now. Splatterhouse, $50 here. It's like $110 on PlayStation 3. Silent Hill Downpour is like $70. This is $44. Yeah, as I said, just throwing it out there. There are some good, there are some good things on 360, but that's just kind of where I would go about it. I honestly don't know much about Wii. I personally wouldn't collect Wii. I don't think Wii is super fun with the whole motion controls. I wouldn't want to play a lot of that stuff, so it's me. Obviously, if you want to do Nintendo stuff, you do your research on Nintendo. Go on price charting like I showed you. Go into there. But here's the main thing. If I were to collect today, number one, the two things I would go for are original Xbox and PlayStation 4. Those are the two main ones. So PlayStation 4 just got out of the cycle. PlayStation 5 is out, obviously. And I'll be honest, a lot of games are cheap. A lot of games are $20 and under. So if you're looking for something, that's what I would do. And a lot of the really good games are like $15, $10, whatever. So you're looking at God of War, one of the best games I've played, $10. $10 for it. The Last of Us Remastered, $10. So $20, you're getting two of the best games that I would say of all time. Some of the best stuff out there. You can get Resident Evil 2 Remake, $17. One of my favorite games of all time also. Days Gone, haven't really played it much, but still a pretty solid PlayStation exclusive, $12. Let's see, what else is like really cheap? You can get the Uncharted, the 4 games in the Uncharted trilogy plus Uncharted 4 for under $20. That to me is nuts, right? If you're into Kingdom Hearts, there's the Kingdom Hearts collection plus Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is only $10. Horizon Zero Dawn is under $10. Yeah, this is to me the way to go, and I don't know how they're going to go in the future. Bloodborne's under $20. The new Doom remake is under, $20. It's $10.60. Resident Evil 7, $13. Yeah, it's insane. This is where I would go. 100%. PlayStation 4. If you have it, you're getting the most updated stuff. You get a really good console, collection built up, super cheap. Back in everybody was talking about, PlayStation 3, it's super cheap if you want to collect for it. PlayStation 4 is right now the cheap thing. So, if you're cool with it, I know it's probably not the cool thing to collect for. That would be my recommendation. And then the original Xbox would be my second one, because I don't think a lot of people collect for the original Xbox. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of like a random rambling. Kind of just getting used to this and figuring out how it goes. So let me know what your thoughts are. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.